Birthday party, my sister said adults only while her toddlers ran wild and broke everything. My children watched from the car as her kids got cake and gifts. I never complained. Last month, I threw my daughter the ultimate princess party when my sister's kids sobbed about not being invited. She stormed over demanding answers. I smiled and said something she wasn't expecting. My sister Evelyn and I have always had a complicated relationship. She's 3 years older and has always acted like she knows better about everything. When we both became mothers around the same time, her twins Jake and Emma are 6, my daughter Lily is 5, and my son Max is 3. I thought maybe we'd finally bond over shared experiences. Boy, was I wrong. The trouble started about 2 years ago when Evelyn began hosting what she called sophisticated birthday parties for her twins. The first time she mentioned it, I was excited. Finally, our kids could play together and create some cousin memories. But when I asked what time to bring Lily and Max, Evelyn gave me this condescending smile. "Oh, this is going to be more of an adults-only affair," she said, flipping her perfectly styled hair. "You know how it is. I want to actually enjoy conversations without constantly managing children. The twins are old enough to behave appropriately." I was confused, but it's literally a birthday party for 6-year-olds. Trust me, it'll be much more civilized this way. We're having it catered. There's going to be wine, real conversations. You'll love it. Against my better judgment, I agreed. I arranged for a babysitter for Lily and Max, bought beautiful gifts for Jake and Emma, and showed up in my nicest dress, ready for this sophisticated celebration. What I walked into was absolute chaos. Jake and Emma were running around like wild animals, screaming at the top of their lungs. Emma had chocolate cake smeared all over her dress and was wiping her hands on Evelyn's white couch. Jake was throwing pieces of his birthday cake at other kids. And when one little girl started crying, he just laughed and threw more. But here's the kicker. There were other children there. About 8 kids total, all running around unsupervised while the adults sipped wine and pretended not to notice the destruction happening around them. Evelyn's adults-only rule apparently only applied to my children. I watched in horror as Jake deliberately knocked over a glass of juice onto Evelyn's friend's purse. And instead of disciplining him, Evelyn just laughed and said, "Boys will be boys." When Emma started pulling books off the shelves and throwing them on the floor, another parent just smiled and said, "She's so spirited." The worst part, I kept thinking about Lily at home, asking why she couldn't come to her cousin's party. I told her it was just for grown-ups and she'd accepted it with a heartbreaking resignation that only a 4-year-old can manage. When I got home that night, covered in someone else's child's sticky fingerprints and with a splitting headache, Lily ran up to me, asking if I'd brought her any cake. I had to tell her there wasn't any left, which wasn't technically a lie. Most of it had ended up on the floor or walls. I thought maybe it was just a one-off thing. Maybe Evelyn would realize how chaotic it had been and adjust for next time. I was so naive. The pattern continued for 2 years. Every single birthday party, every holiday gathering, every celebration Evelyn hosted came with the same rule. Adults only. But don't worry, it'll be fun. And every single time I'd show up to find the same chaos with Jake and Emma treating their guests like personal servants while the adults got progressively more drunk and less attentive. The breaking point came at Emma's birthday party last spring. I'd specifically asked Evelyn if this one could include all the kids since